This is the National Video Journalist Network.
Welcome to MyLITV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we've traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. MyLITV starts now.
Brett gives you the details behind the stories that bring to life the players, coaches, games, and seasons. Please welcome author of So You Think You're a New York Mets Fan, Brett Topel.
As sports fans know, trivia is a part of what we do as sports fans, and for me, it's always been about Mets trivia.
Dallas Green's biggest contribution to the Mets was, who knows what his biggest contribution to the Mets was? Nobody knows. When he was a general manager of Chicago Cubs, he traded Bill Buckner to the Red Sox. So
what I really like to do is tell stories. And I saw an opportunity here to tell 79, 80 stories about the Mets, and in the form of trivia. And I got to speak to some really great people. I interviewed some former players and broadcasters and current broadcasters to really get firsthand accounts of a lot of these stories. And I was really very pleased with the results. And the first question in the book is, who was the first ever batter for the Mets franchise? And that's how I thought it was the only way to really start it. And it goes right up until things that happened this past offseason.
When we were coming up with the idea for the cover of this book, they asked me who I thought should be on the cover. An easy answer to go on the cover would be Tom Seaver or 86 Mets. But I wanted this book to be more current, and I wanted this book to be forward-thinking.
It's a good time to write a Mets book because obviously they're a very good team at this point. The Mets, although they're the new kids in town, so to speak, being a much younger team than the Yankees, they now span generations. My dad's a Met fan, I'm a Met fan, my son's a Met fan. So I think there's this insatiable urge to just consume as much about your franchise as possible.
Ron Taylor became a doctor. Who else knew that?
I made it a point to not look at any other Mets trivia books. There's certainly been other Mets trivia books in the past, and I used to have a game when I was young. It was a Mets trivia cards that used to flip over for the answer. But I really wanted to do this, organically and just, from information I knew and could gather. And always one of my personal favorites was a guy by the name of Doug Flynn. He was traded to the Mets in the Tom Seaver trade, which was the least popular trade in Mets history. I reached out to him. He couldn't have been more gracious. Told me some great stories about how it was to be in that one-sided baseball trade.
His first day getting to Shea Stadium after being traded for Tom Seaver, someone screamed to him from the stands, "Hey, Mr. Flynn," and he looked around and saw a very nice-looking gentleman. He goes, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "You suck." I
think a really good question is which Met holds the record for most hits in a ball game and most runs scored in a ball game, and it actually happened in the same game. The answer was this player went 6 for 6 and scored 6 runs. And the answer is Edgar Alfonso.
It's so cool. It just spans over such a long period of time, and there's such interesting questions in the book. It's just like wow, that happened.
In some things, you feel really good because you know the answers. I think I got probably about 70% of them right. But then the ones that I didn't get right, you kind of think about them for a long time, and then you finally give up, and you're like, I gotta see the answer to this.
I mean, I think that's what's great about trivia, because you get to stump your buddy or your dad or your mom or your sister or your brother, and the people who are the craziest, ardent, most Met fans don't know everything.